So I'm finally going to talk about vaping. I was so foolish. I picked up cigarette smoking when I was 14 years old, 13 or 14. I believe it was 14 though, and it was just to look mature. When you're a teenager, you want to be grown, be an adult, and fit in and all these things. And so yeah, I picked up cigarette smoking young, and I was a heavy smoker. Ended up with early stages of emphysema. It was early stages of emphysema, like patterns on the lungs in x-ray. When I was like 29, 30 years old, it was showing up in my x-rays, my chest x-rays. And I quit a few times. I quit for a year here, 6 months there, 2 years, and then the last time I quit was for nearly 11 years. And when I quit, I was smoking 2 packs a day. I was a heavy smoker. Now, I picked it back up in September of 2016, like a fool. Stress. What else? Why do people pick up smoking, or why do people pick up drinking or whatever? I mean, stress, a moment of stupidity, a moment of weakness, and then there's repercussions to that. So, nonetheless, I picked it back up, and I stayed a light smoker. I was, a cigarette every couple of days. Sometimes I'd smoke 2 or 3 in a day, and then I'd get back down to 1 cigarette every 2 or 3 days, which was what my hope was. Well, if I could just stay at 1 cigarette every 2 or 3 days, that would make me I could be a social smoker. And that was all I wanted, because I always enjoyed having a cigarette once in a while. But the idea of needing the cigarette is what sucks. To smoke daily, and to smoke, more than 3 or 4 in a day is too many. Really, 3 or 4 in a day is too many also, but it's relative, okay? Work with me. So I digress. Okay, so I picked it back up, and now I'm still smoking, but I also vape. Between the two, folks, I mean, if you must smoke, I would say to vape. At least the vape does not leave the tar. It does not, have the tar in it where cigarettes do, which contributes to emphysema and lung cancer and those type of things there. So, no, vaping is not good for you either. It's not. And I'm not, here to justify or minimize anything, because none of it's good, I like to swim. That's my exercise. And and even though, no, I'm not smoking 2 packs a day. I'm smoking, I don't know, somewhere between 5 to 10 cigarettes a day. But I vape a lot in between that. So if I didn't have the vape device, how much would I really be smoking? I shudder to think what I'd really be smoking, I'd like to think that, well, if there was no vape device, I would still be at, under a half a pack a day. But how truthful is that? I don't know. No, I don't smoke in my house, or I don't smoke indoors. I will vape indoors, but smoking cigarettes, no, because secondhand smoke and cigarette smoke, changes the color of your walls. It messes your furniture up and gets into your clothing and all that stuff. It's pretty nasty to clean up, after years or whatever. I mean, it builds up. It's a nasty thing. So yeah, I vape, and that doesn't have the secondhand smoke. Now, I've had people say that they can smell vape and that it stinks, and I'm like, wow, I guess, But you know what? When I was not smoking at all, I was very sensitive to cigarette smoke. I could smell cigarette smoke a mile away. I could. So, and now, even though I picked up smoking, I can tell if somebody smoked indoors or whatever, you know, I'm just as sensitive to that. I'm like, well, if I, as now a smoker again, can smell that, then somebody who doesn't smoke. I remember being so sensitive to being able to smell that, you know. So with the vape device, I didn't realize, though, until a couple of people told me, you know, can smell that. You're still smoking me out, you know. So, but this time around with the smoking, I try to be respectful with it, you know. I smoke outdoors. I try not to litter with it, depending on where I'm at. If there's no ashtray, well, then I guess I have no choice, you know. I don't want to put out a cigarette thinking it's out and then throw it in the trash can and then a little fire occurs, you know, or something. So, but in general, yes, I try to be respectful. And if somebody doesn't smoke, I try not to smoke around them. I'm not going to smoke in their home or whatever, you know, because when I didn't smoke, I didn't really want to be around it either. I really, really didn't, you know. It's a hard habit to quit. I'm really pissed with myself that I picked it back up. It was a foolish thing. Didn't change any stressor that was going on in my life except create another issue for me, and that was, wow, now I gotta deal with quitting smoking again, even when I'm ready, you know. If I'll ever be ready. I hope to be one day again, but right now, it costs money, it's expensive, it's a stinky habit, for sure. It's unattractive. It ages you. You know, I have mild asthma, so I really have absolutely no business smoking, but it is what it is, you know. Just the thought, you know, I mean, if you don't smoke and if you have a curiosity about it, don't succumb to that. It's a horrible thing. It's a hard thing to quit. And if you're trying to quit, persevere in your efforts, you'll succeed. I did it for 11 years. I hope to do it again and one day be able to say it's for good, you know. It's a process overcoming they're hurdles. So